What happens when one of the most celebrated figures in entertainment steps into what should be a routine interview, only to find herself in the crosshairs of a host who has no intention of playing fair? That's exactly what unfolded on a seemingly ordinary taping of The Kelly Clarkson Show, where the warmth of daytime television evaporated under the weight of one of the most volatile confrontations ever broadcast. From the moment Jennifer Lopez entered the brightly lit studio, the atmosphere in Studio 6B was electric, but not in the usual way. It crackled with an invisible tension that wrapped around everyone like static, making even the air feel charged. It was supposed to be lighthearted, friendly, promotional, but instead, it became a live unraveling, an ambush masquerading as an interview. A personal vendetta dressed in pastel lighting and daytime charm. Jennifer had done hundreds of these appearances. She knew the drill: talk about the latest movie or album, share a funny anecdote about life, smile, and go home. She had expected the same kind of breezy back and forth she'd had so many times before. Kelly Clarkson, after all, had built her entire on-air persona around being relatable and kinda girl next door whose warmth made her guests feel welcome. But something was off. Jennifer sensed it the moment she sat down in the guest chair, the curve of her smile beginning to fade even as the cameras rolled. Kelly greeted her with her signature southern twang, dishing out compliments like candy. "You look absolutely stunning, as always," she said, beaming. "You never seem to age, do you?" Jennifer gave a polite smile, adjusting the hem of her sleek blazer. "Thank you, Kelly. I work hard to take care of myself. It's all about discipline and consistency." But then came the twist, subtle, but unmistakable. Kelly repeated the word with a strange emphasis, as if it meant something else entirely. "Discipline. Huh, interesting, ... I've heard some pretty wild stories about just how disciplined you are behind the scenes." And just like that, the trap had been sprung. The audience didn't notice it immediately, but Jennifer did. Her smile stiffened, her breath tightened. She knew what was coming, could feel it before a single name was dropped. "I'm not sure what you mean by wild stories," Jennifer replied carefully. "I think you might be confusing me with someone else." But Kelly wasn't backing down. "Am I, though?" she asked, her smile plastered in place even as her eyes narrowed. "Because I've been doing my homework, and from what I've heard, some of the people who've worked with you have said some interesting things about your work ethic. And by interesting, I mean concerning." The room shifted, the energy collapsed. The live audience, moments ago full of laughter and excitement, began to fall into an uneasy silence. Jennifer sat still, her body poised but rigid, her expression no longer that of a guest promoting a project, but of someone realizing they'd walked into a lion's den disguised as a living room. "Kelly, I'm not sure what you're getting at," she said, tone even, professional. "I've always been known for my professionalism and my commitment to excellence. If there are specific questions about my work, I'm happy to answer them." But Kelly wasn't here to ask questions. She was here to accuse. "Oh, professionalism," she repeated, tapping a perfectly manicured nail against her mug. "What does that look like when you're making dancers rehearse until 3 in the morning, when you're screaming at sound techs over minor issues?" Jennifer's jaw tightened. These weren't vague rumors. These were direct references to moments from her recent tour rehearsals, moments that hadn't been public. Someone had talked. Someone had come to Kelly. Jennifer responded cautiously. "I think there's been some miscommunication about those situations. Rehearsals can be intense. Emotions run high in the pursuit of perfection." "Emotions can run high," Kelly repeated with a sardonic laugh. "That's one way to put it. But is perfection worth humiliating your team? Worth making grown adults cry?" The room froze. The audience was no longer engaged. They were captive, watching, leaning forward, silent. Jennifer could feel her publicist tensing in the wings, caught between letting it unfold and calling an audible. "Kelly, you're painting a very unfair picture of me," Jennifer said, voice now cooler, sharper. "I've worked with thousands of professionals. I've had a career spanning decades. If I were truly what you're suggesting, don't you think it would have caught up with me?" "Maybe it has," Kelly said. Her smile faltered, just for a beat, but the gleam in her eye said she believed she was finally holding a mirror to someone too used to avoiding reflection. Maybe all those people who were too afraid to speak up are finally finding their voice. Jennifer's pulse quickened. This wasn't a conversation, it was an ambush, a public dismantling, a carefully orchestrated effort to drag her through the mud under the guise of transparency. "I don't know what kind of show you think you're running here," Jennifer snapped, her patience thinning. "But this isn't journalism, it's a hit job, a hit job." Kelly raised an eyebrow. "I'm just asking questions. Or are you only comfortable when everyone's praising you?" Jennifer sat up straighter, her expression sharpened. "You know what, Kelly? I came here today as a courtesy. I didn't need to. I thought I was speaking with someone I respected. But now, I'm wondering if I made a mistake." Kelly's voice was practically gleeful. "Now, we're getting somewhere." Jennifer didn't flinch. "But Kelly Clarkson I thought I knew wouldn't ambush her guests like this. The Kelly Clarkson I thought I knew had class." That word class landed like a slap. Kelly's eyes lost all friendliness. Her face hardened. Class. That's rich. Coming from someone who has meltdowns when the green room is 2 degrees too cold. That's not true, Jennifer replied tightly. Isn't it? Kelly snapped. Because I've got witnesses who say otherwise. Staff who catered your events. People who worked your sets. They paint a very different picture. Jennifer's pulse thundered in her ears. She had spent years building her career, layered by layer. But now, those layers felt like targets. Kelly, I don't know what your endgame is here, she said, but whatever point you're trying to make, you've made it. Can we move on? We're just getting started, Kelly said, with a tight, cold smile, because the world deserves to know who you really are when the cameras stop rolling. The studio lights burned like judgment. The eyes of the audience bore down like jurors. Jennifer could feel the sweat bead at her hairline, not from nerves, but from fury. She had come here in good faith. She had walked into a set expecting dignity and been dragged into a trial without defense. What exactly do you think your audience deserves to know? She asked, her voice low, sharp, because it sounds like you've made up your mind already. Oh, you'll get to speak, Kelly said smugly. I'd love to hear how you explain making a production team reshoot an entire commercial because your hair didn't look perfect. In a 3-second shot, allegedly, Jennifer snapped, seizing on the opening. You're admitting you don't know what happened. I've got multiple sources, Kelly countered. People who were there. People who saw it happen. People who conveniently remain anonymous, I'm sure, Jennifer shot back. So you get to say whatever you want, without having to prove a thing. Kelly blinked. For just a moment, her confidence wavered. Are you calling me a liar? I'm calling you unprofessional, Jennifer said coldly. This isn't an interview. It's a smear campaign. The audience sat like statues, mesmerized by the unraveling of what had started as a cheerful talk show segment. Their faces reflected a mix of disbelief, discomfort, and something else, hunger. They were witnessing something raw, something real. Jennifer knew that. She could feel the phones discreetly aimed at the stage, the red light of the cameras glowing like a warning flare. This is how you use your platform, she said to Kelly, barely containing her disbelief. By spreading gossip and painting half-truths as justice. Is that what you call it? Kelly asked, her voice smooth but lined with venom. Gossip. When people speak up about the pain you've caused. When people finally find the courage to say they were mistreated by someone they admired. You don't even know these people, Jennifer snapped. If they even exist. Oh, they exist, Kelly said, folding her arms like a judge behind a bench. Like the young assistant who lasted 6 days before she quit. Or the makeup artist who had a panic attack because you yelled at her for using the wrong lipstick. Jennifer's breath hitched. The story's distorted versions of difficult moments had followed her before. She had weathered rumors and edited clips, but hearing them fired at her now like a prosecutor's closing argument was something else entirely. Stop, Jennifer said, voice trembling but still steady. Why? Kelly asked, eyes burning. Because I'm saying things you don't want people to hear? No, Jennifer answered, her voice rising. Because you're lying. You're dragging up unverifiable rumors and making them gospel because it gets clicks and keeps people talking. That's not accountability, Kelly. That's exploitation. I'm not making anything up, Kelly snapped. These are real experiences, and they deserve to be heard. Then bring them on, Jennifer countered, her voice full of righteous fire. If they're real, if they're so brave, where are they? Why aren't they here to tell their story? Because they're afraid of you, Kelly said coldly. Afraid of me? Jennifer echoed in disbelief. Afraid of what? I'm an actress, not a dictator. I don't hold anyone's career in the palm of my hand. Kelly pressed harder. You don't think your opinion matters in this town. You don't think a word from you can make or break someone's opportunity. That's not just naive, Jennifer, it's insulting. Jennifer felt fury and despair building behind her ribs. You're trying to burn me at the stake and act like it's public service. That's not journalism, it's not justice, it's theater. Kelly leaned in. And what would you call what you do? The carefully crafted public image. The airbrushed truth. The army of handlers who clean up every mess. Jennifer stood, her chair scraped back hard against the polished floor. The audience gasped, some sitting forward, others sinking back in their seats as if trying to disappear. Since you know me so well, Jennifer said, her voice dangerously calm, why don't you tell everyone who I am? Go on, Kelly, show them the version of me you've built in your head. Kelly remained seated, calm in posture but rigid in pride. You're someone who's forgotten where you came from. You used to be relatable, real. Now you're cold, distant, unreachable. You treat people like they're disposable. You don't know anything about me, Jennifer said, her voice now tight with pain. You don't know what I've sacrificed, what I've lost, what I've fought to build. You sit here with your cue cards and coffee mugs and pretend you're delivering truth. But all you've done today is reveal who you are. And who's that? Kelly shot back. A bully, Jennifer said flatly. A smiling, well-dressed, ratings-hungry bully. The insult sliced through the air like a knife. Kelly's expression twitched. She stood slowly, matching Jennifer's height eyes, locked in a silent war of wills. I'm not a bully, she said through clenched teeth. I'm doing what people in this industry are too scared to do, ask the hard questions. You're a talk show host, Jennifer snapped. You're not a crusader. You're not Oprah. You're not some beacon of moral clarity. You sing songs and talk to actors. That's your job. And your job, Kelly said, her voice turning ice cold, is to entertain, not to abuse, not to dominate, not to destroy people just because you're chasing perfection. Jennifer took a step closer. You want to talk about destruction? You invited me here to promote a project. You smiled in the emails, smiled in the dressing room, smiled when I walked out here. And now, you've turned this stage into a courtroom without a judge or jury. You want to punish me, but for what? Kelly, for not being perfect, for having standards, for being cruel. Kelly said. The word echoed louder than any shout. Cruel. It pierced through Jennifer's defenses like a spear. That word wasn't criticism, it was assassination. I am not cruel, Jennifer said, her voice cracking with intensity. Demanding, maybe. Perfectionist, sure, but I care. I care deeply. And sometimes that passion comes out messy. But it is never, ever cruel. Then why do so many people say it is? Kelly pressed. Why do so many people say you're impossible to work with? Because I expect excellence, Jennifer said. Because I push people the way I push myself. I give everything, and I expect the same. If that makes me difficult, fine. But it doesn't make me heartless. Or maybe, Kelly said, her voice low and bitter. You just don't want to admit that you've changed? That the girl who sang about the Bronx disappeared under the weight of money and fame. Don't you dare, Jennifer hissed. Don't you dare bring up Jenny from the block like it's a weapon. Why not? Kelly asked, stepping forward. Isn't that who you used to be? The girl who remembered where she came from. The girl who looked people in the eye instead of through them. Jennifer's fists clenched. Her throat burned with restrained tears. Shut up, she whispered. Did Jenny die when you screamed at that Kelly continued. Did she vanish the first time you made someone feel worthless because their work wasn't good enough for your impossible standards? I said shut up. Jennifer finally shouted, the force of it shaking the room. Silence. Complete and deafening. For a beat, it seemed even the cameras stopped. Jennifer stood there, tears streaming down her face, her chest heaving. Kelly stared at her, stunned for the first time. The mask slipped. You win, Jennifer said. You wanted the tears. You got them. You wanted humiliation. Done. Congratulations, Kelly. You broke me. I hope it was worth it. Jennifer, Kelly began, suddenly unsure. Don't, Jennifer cut her off. Don't you dare pretend. This wasn't the plan from the moment I stepped into this building. Jennifer turned on her heel. Get my things, she told her publicist, who had been standing shell-shocked just off stage. We're leaving. Wait, Kelly called. After her, we can talk about this. We can fix this. Jennifer turned one last time. Her face, streaked with tears, was calm now, resigned. There's nothing to fix. You showed me exactly who you are, and now I'm showing you who I am, someone who won't stand here and be torn apart for sport. You're just going to walk away, Kelly shouted, panic rising. You're going to run instead of facing the truth. I'm not running, Jennifer said. I'm walking away from you. There's a difference. You can't just leave in the middle of an interview. Kelly's voice had lost all its edge, replaced by something almost childlike. Watch me, Jennifer said. And she walked. Every step echoed like a drumbeat. Her heels clicked across the floor, the sound growing fainter as she neared the exit. No one moved. No one breathed. Even the audience, full of strangers, couldn't look away. As Jennifer reached the studio doors, she stopped. Without turning around, she raised her voice just enough to be heard. I hope this was worth it. Kelly, I hope tearing me down helped you sleep tonight. Because the world just saw who you really are. And then, she was gone. Kelly stood alone. The set, once glowing with polished perfection, now felt hollow, dim. Her chest rose and fell with uneven breath. The applause sign didn't light up. No music played. The only sound was the distant echo of Jennifer's heels. Long gone. The cameras kept rolling, capturing everything. Every second of Kelly's blank stare, her sudden solitude. She had done it. She had gotten what she wanted, but standing there alone, watched, exposed, she couldn't shake. The feeling that she had also lost something she'd never get back. Her audience, her credibility, her decency, and maybe her soul.